Chapter 52 to 54. At this moment, on the planet of the Grand Kai, all spectators were utterly astounded. The aura of a warrior from the northern quadrant of the galaxy was being directly transmitted to the planet of the Grand Kai. This was an unprecedented event, leaving everyone in disbelief. "Wow, Goten's power is overwhelming. You can feel his ki from here," Goku exclaimed, sensing Goten's formidable aura. Gohan, with his mouth agape in surprise, echoed, "What's happening with Goten? His aura is so potent, it's beyond belief." Each of them was a highly skilled Saiyan fighter, yet compared to Goten, they felt insignificant. "Enough! There should be a limit to absurdity," Vegeta grumbled, feeling irked. "It's one thing to surpass us, but this kid is excessively extraordinary." Seeing Trunks beside him, Vegeta felt a strong urge to knock him out. To him, they were both hybrid Saiyan warriors, and his bloodline was even more noble than Goku's. Yet Goku's son had become so powerful, while Trunks remained in the Super Saiyan form. More importantly, among this group, Trunks was the weakest. The disparity between his son and Goku's son infuriated Vegeta even more. "That boy Goten is truly a monstrous existence," Piccolo was equally astonished. "I can't comprehend how he managed to enhance his abilities to this level in less than a decade." In the past few years, they had been monitoring the activities on Earth. However, Goten didn't seem to have shown any exceptional prowess, except for his tenacity. His training regimen seemed ordinary. But why had he become so powerful now? He seemed to have widened the gap with all of them. What had happened to him? "Dad, Piccolo, why did the aura around Goten turn green?" Gohan asked, puzzled. "This color seems to be identical to the aura around Broly back then." Goten had transformed countless times before, but his transformations were all the same: golden hair and golden aura. But now Goten was emanating a vibrant green aura, almost identical to that of Broly from the southern galaxy. This was perplexing. "I'm not entirely sure either," Goku admitted, shaking his head. "When I channeled my voice before, the Kai released by Goten was the same as ours. Perhaps this is Goten's trump card. He wouldn't display it easily unless it was crucial. Could it be related to Broly's last fight?" Piccolo speculated, uncertain. Goten hadn't released this green aura before fighting Broly. "Ha ha ha! Kakarot, don't you understand?" Vegeta laughed, a smug smile on his face. "You are a low-level Saiyan warrior, but your son possesses the legendary Super Saiyan bloodline." Goku looked confused, not knowing what Vegeta wanted to express. Cutting off his explanation in halfway, he hated this kind of explanation the most. Just as everyone on the Grand Kai's planet was expressing their astonishment, Goten completed his transformation. The vibrant green aura around his body surged wildly like a flame. His intensity had reached an unprecedented height, far stronger than when he first became the legendary Super Saiyan. Evidently, this had a lot to do with the old Supreme Kai helping to unlock his potential. "Oh my god, it's unbelievable." "Is this really Goten?" Krillin asked, skeptical. This kid seemed different from the Goten he knew. After transforming into the legendary Super Saiyan form, Goten's height directly reached 1.8 meters. His body was covered with solid muscles. His vibrant green hair danced in the wind, and the aura flames around his body surged like a boiling ocean. Rustle. The aura flames kept flapping the air, making a crisp sound. His pair of golden pupils were full of confidence and intensity. "Boo? Ya?" Majin Buu and Janemba looked at Goten, who had undergone a dramatic change, with expressions of surprise and fear on their faces. Their expression immediately turned serious. Even if they lacked rationality, they could instinctively sense the strength and terror of their opponent. "Majin Buu, Janemba, what are you two waiting for?" Babidi yelled at Majin Buu and Janemba. "Hurry up and eliminate that brat." Seeing that something was obviously wrong, Babidi immediately yelled loudly at Majin Buu and Janemba. He had complete control over Janemba, so he naturally knew Janemba's origin and name. His intuition told him that the kid in front of him was terrifying. His heart was very disturbed, a feeling he had never experienced before. "Boo! Ya!" At this time, Majin Buu and Janemba also became visibly angry due to the fear in their hearts. They screamed, bared their teeth and rushed towards Goten again. "Now I can't let you wreak havoc," Goten muttered, disappearing in an instant. Before the two of them could react, Goten directly grabbed their heads with both hands and thrashed them heavily into the hard ground. Rumble. A deep crater appeared on the ground. Boom! Two more energy waves exploded from his palms, and the bodies of Majin Buu and Janemba were instantly shattered. Puddles of meat paste wriggled non-stop like little pink bugs. At the same time, Janemba's body reorganized from behind Goten again. However, cracks had already appeared on his body, indicating that he had been seriously injured by the explosion. Yah! The moment Janemba launched a sneak attack, Goten turned around suddenly and squeezed out a silver-white energy in his hand. He then stuck it on Janemba's chest. "Return to your hell. This is not a place where you can cause trouble." As his icy voice fell, the energy ball exploded. After a low explosion sounded, Janemba's body was instantly swallowed by the energy wave. Like a candle in the wind, he vanished. At the same time, the ki of Janemba had completely disappeared. Across the battlefield, the scattered pink fragments on the ground began to reassemble, taking on the form of Majin Buu. His small eyes narrowed into crescent shapes, glowing with a menacing scarlet light. Woo woo woo! Steam hissed from Majin Buu's head, reminiscent of a pressure cooker reaching its peak. The white steam condensed rapidly, forming a cloud-like structure above him. This cloud seemed to possess a life of its own, squirming wildly like a lump of clay. As it writhed, the cloud began to morph into a humanoid shape. What's happening? Krillin watched the spectacle unfold, his voice laced with surprise. The steam expelled from Majin Buu was transforming into a humanoid form. Each new development was stranger and more terrifying than the last. Shin and Kibito were equally baffled, shaking their heads in confusion. Amidst the collective astonishment and uncertainty, the white cloud fully transformed into a figure. It bore a resemblance to Majin Buu, but its physique and skin tone were drastically different. The newly formed entity had dark skin and a lean build. His eyes lacked the benignity of Majin Buu, replaced with an unparalleled malevolence. This sight left Krillin and Shin utterly bewildered. "I've been waiting for you," Goten sneered, understanding the situation better than anyone else. When Majin Buu was consumed by rage, the evil within him would separate and form Skinny Buu. The fat Majin Buu standing before him was now benevolent, while Skinny Buu was the embodiment of pure evil. Unlike the fat Majin Buu, this one harbored no kindness in his heart. He was composed entirely of malevolence. As Goten finished speaking, he vanished, reappearing directly in front of Skinny Buu. A silver energy ball quickly formed in his palm. Before Skinny Buu could react, the energy ball struck him squarely in the forehead. "Ghosts have no right to exist." Goten's voice was chillingly indifferent as the energy wave erupted forth. "Yah!" Skinny Buu didn't have a chance to react. Accompanied by a piercing scream, his body was gradually consumed by the energy. In the blink of an eye, he vanished into thin air. Although Majin Buu possessed an extraordinary regenerative ability, if all his cells were obliterated instantaneously by an overwhelming power, he would be unable to resurrect. Simultaneously, a notification echoed in Goten's mind. "Ding, congratulations to the host for acquiring Majin Buu's super regeneration ability." Goten remained composed, as if he had anticipated this outcome. Majin Buu! Babidi was utterly dumbfounded. "Impossible! How did that brat kill my Majin Buu in an instant?" He had believed that once Majin Buu was revived, he would be able to rule the entire universe. But he hadn't expected Majin Buu to perish less than half an hour after breaking the seal. This brat had actually killed another Majin Buu, and the current Majin Buu was clearly no match for him. It was highly likely that he would meet the same fate. Dabura had ceased fighting a while ago. At this moment he was trembling with fear. The boy in front of him was far too powerful. They knew that he possessed the strength to annihilate them in an instant. At this moment, there was only one thought in his mind: to escape this perilous place as quickly as possible. His intuition warned them that if they continued to stay here, they would meet a dead end. "Babidi-sama, we must leave immediately," Dabura whispered urgently to Babidi. "Majin Buu doesn't stand a chance against that boy. If we linger here any longer, we will be killed." As long as they escaped, they would have a chance to make a comeback in the future. But Majin Buu, Babidi hesitated. He had just released Majin Buu from his seal. Was he to abandon him now? But it seemed they had no other choice. Only if Majin Buu held them off for a while would they have a chance to escape. All right, Babidi finally made up his mind after a moment of struggle. Let's go. The decision was painful, but it was better than dying here. The two of them turned around and flew in the opposite direction. Do you think you can just leave? Goten's voice was laced with indifference as he watched Babidi attempt to flee. He then used Kai to appear directly in front of the duo. What do you want to do? Babidi and Dabura were instantly terrified. They knew all too well that they were like ants before the boy standing in front of them. They stood no chance against him. Me? I'm merely sending you to hell. Goten's tone remained indifferent. I believe hell is a more fitting place for scum like you. Although these three were minor characters and their strength was laughably weak, if they were allowed to escape and wreak havoc elsewhere, other planets might suffer. After all, Dabura could be considered a top-tier existence on other planets. Stop being so arrogant, brat. Don't think that you have the ability to kill me. Dabura felt his dignity being trampled upon. He spat at Goten. In the eyes of others, this might be him acting roguish. But Goten and Shin were very clear that this guy's saliva was different from ordinary saliva. If it made contact with the body, it would cause instant petrification. Goten! Watch out for Dabura's spit, Shin warned immediately. However, his warning was unnecessary. Dabura's saliva vaporized before it could touch the aura flames surrounding Goten's body. Ha! Goten clenched his fists, his aura flaring up. In the next instant, the bodies of Dabura and Babidi disintegrated under the terrifying energy. It seems that my warning was a bit redundant, Shin said, slightly embarrassed. He then turned his gaze to Majin Buu. Now, all that was left was to deal with Majin Buu and everything would be settled. At this moment, Majin Buu appeared puzzled, seemingly lost in his own world. He had previously fought Goten under Babidi's orders, fearing that disobedience would result in his resealing. However, with Babidi now gone, there were no orders to follow. Despite Majin Buu's low intellect, he was acutely aware that Goten was not someone he could provoke. Launching an attack on Goten would likely result in his own demise. It was the nature of living beings to feel trepidation towards those stronger than themselves, and Majin Buu was no exception. He stood there, a look of bewilderment etched on his face. Whoosh! In the blink of an eye, Shin appeared before Goten. Goten, you must eliminate Majin Buu quickly. Once he's gone, everything will calm down. If he escapes, it would spell disaster for the entire universe. His words were not unfounded. The memory of the four Supreme Kais being killed and absorbed by Majin Buu was still fresh in his mind. It was a fear that ran deep, one that would likely never be forgotten. No, I won't kill him, Goten responded, shaking his head. I've just destroyed the evil within Majin Buu, and he's not malevolent anymore. With proper guidance, he could become a warrior who protects the earth. The current Majin Buu was akin to a blank slate. If influenced by an evil individual, he would turn evil again. Conversely, if guided by a kind-hearted person, Majin Buu could become kind. With only two warriors on Earth, himself and Krillin, it would be beneficial if Majin Buu could also serve as a protector of the planet. After all, he couldn't stay on Earth forever. The planet needed powerful warriors for its protection. Moreover, if Majin Buu were on Earth, he could also ensure the safety of his mother and Bulma. What? Let Majin Buu protect the Earth? Shin was clearly struggling to comprehend this. When Majin Buu was first created, he had turned hundreds of planets into lifeless husks. Entrusting him with the protection of Earth seemed akin to letting a weasel guard chickens. Kaioshin-sama, I have my own plan, Goten assured him. Even if Majin Buu turns evil again, I have the power to eliminate him. His words were firm. After all, in the original timeline, Majin Buu had become a warrior protecting the Earth. Okay. Shin could only nod in agreement. To eliminate Majin Buu, Goten's cooperation was essential. If Goten was confident, then he had no objections. Whoosh! In an instant, Goten appeared directly in front of Majin Buu. Buu, Babidi, who controlled you has been dealt with by me, he said calmly. Now you have two choices. Either become a warrior who protects the earth or be eliminated by me. Huh? Majin Buu was taken aback. He seemed to understand what Goten meant. After all, he possessed the essence of Grand Supreme Kai within him. A smile then spread across his face. He chose the former. Despite his low intellect, he understood fear. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been threatened by Babidi. Very good. It seems you're quite smart, Goten commended, nodding in approval. He then added in a serious tone, however, I must warn you. If you do anything harmful to the earth, I won't hesitate to end you. Majin Buu closed his eyes tightly and nodded, a smile on his face. He clearly agreed to Goten's terms. In the current situation, if he didn't agree, there was only a dead end. Ah, Shin sighed, still somewhat worried. However, he could only trust Goten at this point. He then approached Goten and expressed his gratitude. Goten, now that the crisis is over, Kibito and I are going back. Thank you very much for your help. Without you, the entire universe would have been in a huge crisis. His words were heartfelt. Whether it was Majin Buu or Janemba, without Goten's help, they wouldn't have been able to handle it. It's all right, Kaioshin-sama, Goten replied with a laugh. This matter is related to the safety of the earth, so it's not like I'm helping you. He then exited his transformed state. Thank you anyway, then there will be a time to meet later, Shin responded with a smile. After Kibito also greeted Goten, the two used the ability of Kai Kai and returned directly to the God Realm. Goten, is it really okay for this guy to stay on Earth? Krillin asked, appearing somewhat worried. After all, Majin Buu was incredibly powerful. If he were to lose control, it could cause catastrophic damage to the Earth. No problem, I trust Majin Buu, Goten assured him, patting Majin Buu's shoulder lightly. Majin Buu seemed to appreciate Goten's trust in him. To be trusted by someone was an enemy earlier was something he had not expected. Okay, I trust you, Krillin conceded. Let's go back first. Such a big commotion happened on Earth just now. I guess Chi-Chi and the others will be very worried. He then added with a smirk, of course, and your big girlfriend. Well, let's go back. Goten ignored his last comment. Indeed, the commotion on Earth had been quite significant, and his mother would be worried if he didn't return soon. After all, she was his only relative in this world. After using Kai Kai, they all returned to Mount Paozu in a short time.